Hi again, and yet another You Ask, I Answer. The questions are coming in again. Thank you very much for everyone who sent them in so far, and thank you to anyone who wants to send in more, because I could always do with a good pipeline. Thank you very much. So, this question today was from Julio Rios de la Fuente, who is an Organisational Change Manager for Wipro in Mexico. Kind of kicked the old grey matter into gear a bit, to be honest, because he asks, if you had the chance to travel back in time, what would be the main lessons learned you have collected through the years that you would tell to a younger novice Ron that starts the journey into the challenging world of change management? There's a song, 1989 song by Cher that goes, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way. Yes, I know I've got this really annoying habit of sometimes relating things to songs, so my apologies, but hey, it makes for a bit of fun. This question is also linked to my video number 12 in answer to the question, what are the top untold personal traits a successful change practitioner should have? Look at it, it's quite interesting. Swiftly moving on. First of all, let's take a look at me when I first started way back in the day on my journey to change. What do you think? Have I changed much? Yeah, a bit. Okay, obviously now to the question, which is based on my own personal experiences. So maybe it's not for everyone, but hopefully you may just be able to take away a few golden nuggets from what I'm going to say. So here goes with my top 10. If I could turn back time, thoughts in no order of importance. Number 1. Don't stick around in one job for longer than is necessary. Unfortunately, you get very comfortable the longer you stay with the same organisation, and the rut gets deeper and deeper the longer you stay, and it becomes more difficult to climb out of. I did for many years, and I wish I had made a conscious decision to make that all-important break before I actually did. I eventually cut all corporate ties in 1996 and went onto the contract market for 15 years, which was great because of the continuous changes of job and the fact that I could be myself to an extent. Number 2, look before you leap. Before you make any key decision, think through the consequences of what you are trying to do. Weigh up the pros and the cons. Yeah? Try to get a feel for the potential pitfalls as well as the advantages. There's always two sides to every story, so make sure you know what they are and understand them. Base your decision on well thought through criteria, and most importantly, what eventually feels right for you. Number 3, learn from others who've been there and done it. You never ever stop learning, and in your early career this is an absolute must. Gain that necessary knowledge from others' experiences, but don't take it at face value, because you will need to align what you've learned with the way you want to do things. It's a bit of a trade-off, to be honest, but make sure that it benefits you at the end of the day. I still learn today, even at my tender age. And to be honest, it's a great feeling when you've mastered a new skill. Number 4, be yourself and don't let people try to change you. It's a bit of a tricky one, to be honest, because in the corporate world, there are certain expectations of how you should behave and conduct yourself. You may need to make some kind of concessions, but never make that many. It doesn't reflect the person you are, and importantly, the person you want to be in the future. This is one of the main reasons I went onto the contract market, as I mentioned earlier, although there are still occasions when you have to conform. but not as a general rule. Number 5, never go against your better judgment. If you feel you want to do what you want to do, is the right thing, then go for it. I do a lot of things now because they feel right. It's sometimes better to follow your heart, rather than your head. Admittedly, again, it's a difficult one because your better judgment may not go down that well with your superiors or peers, but do it if it feels right. I didn't until much later on in my career, so I guess I missed a lot of opportunities, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. All right, number 6, believe in yourself and your capabilities. Self-belief is a key trait, and so many people I have worked with have not had that for one reason or another. You have to be confident in yourself and your abilities. If you aren't, people will soon see through the facade and try to capitalize on your lack of it. You can still ooze confidence, even though inside you might not. There's a saying that goes, fake it till you make it, And there have been many occasions where I've been asked to do things which I've never done before, but with a few timely searches on Google, coupled with my general knowledge of the subject, I was able to deliver. Number 7, don't let the but grind you down. Because I've always been an individual, some might call me a rebel, maybe. There were many occasions in the corporate world when I was questioned about my conduct, my ethics, and my behavior, but I was never unprofessional, never. Unfortunately, when you could see that your peers were getting away with all sorts of dodgy, iffy stuff and weren't questioned in the same way as you were being questioned, it actually got to be quite irksome, but I kept quiet and I didn't say anything. Now I tend to tell it the way it is, within reason, which is sometimes uncomfortable for people on the receiving end, but that's only because they're not used to it. Number 8, build your credibility. This will come with experience. Again, I went onto the contract market I mentioned before because I wanted to prove that I could practice change in whatever industry sector I worked in and with whatever technology I worked with. Now, with over 20 industry sectors under my belt and having change managed something like 25, probably more technology solutions globally, I hopefully have that credibility. I hope so. But as I said, it's not an overnight thing. It takes time. Sometimes a considerable amount of focus and dedication. Just stick at it. All right. Excuse me. Number 9, do your homework. This is all about keeping up to date with new tools, techniques, models, methodologies, and approaches. When I first started out, I didn't know much about what was out there. So I researched and, as I said earlier, learned from others. You don't have to get an in-depth knowledge of everything, but just enough to help you understand how things work and where they fit. The key for me was developing my own framework to change, which I still use today and now train on via my Fun of Change course. It's practical, based on its knowledge and a lot of experience. And finally, number 10, keep your focus on the people. Goes without saying, really. In my early days, it was more about the tools and techniques that I'd been taught. But as I progressed through my career, I came to the realization that whatever I did and whatever I used, the one constant in all of this was people. Unfortunately, this is now often forgotten, given all of the sexy technology being developed. You have to remember that tech is just an enabler to help people do their jobs more efficiently or in a more focused way. People will always be there in one way or another, and all people react to change differently. Tell us something new. Right, going to finish off now with another line from a song, which sums up kind of both my professional and personal life. Carole King's 1971 song called Tapestry, which goes, "My life has been a tapestry of rich and royal hue, an everlasting vision of the ever-changing view." Oh dear, sorry about that. All right, that's it again. A slightly personal video, but for me, an interesting reflection of my past and my present, and maybe even my future. Do you relate to anything I've said in any way? Think about it.